So xLights was developed, and then Nutcracker was a separate program, and then they started to incorporate Nutcracker into xLights. Now, why do we want to use xLights? It was developed basically to handle huge RGB arrays. Okay. Anyone used My Bobo or Gladiator? They were sort of the early ones of handling huge amounts of pixels. So, but now in good old xLights, it's pretty well unlimited as to what you can do. It's free to download. As you can see up there, this year they launched xLights 4, which is a complete new base for how they did it's called a GUI or something, I don't know, whatever. So since April, there are 32 releases. Okay, so they put out a whole lot of little releases. They're getting the people out in the field to, in essence, do the bug finding, but you can learn as you go along rather than trying to get this whole big thing going. Okay, so it's as simple as you just go on to the Nutcracker 123.releases, and it will bring up, then you can actually download into the, you'll end up with, I don't have any fancy things like Driver. I just work off the computer here. Hang on, we'll get into here this way. So it brings up into xLights over here. How can we make that bigger? There we go. Inside, so this is the software for xLights. When you download it, you will this is all gets dropped into your computer under program files x86 directory. And then what they have in here is all of the songs. There's a whole bunch of songs that are already sorted out as far as the beats and bars and what have you. So you can actually, a lot of the timing is already done out of Audacity. If you don't know how to use Audacity and you want some timing, that's one way that they developed of getting programs or beats and bars and what have you into xLights. So you could then you then go along and just pick the song. If you go into here, it tells you where it's actually, what's the version of the song that you can go away and buy, and then you just basically use whatever one of these if you wanted to get their timing. Okay. So, and it looks like I'll shut it down. So over there. Okay. What you do is you just set up, if you want to set up, you just do your, the mouse has got a mind of its own. To add, if you just want to add some E31s, some multicast or unicast, depending on what you want, we just go in here and add, and you can just select how many channels you want, 510, 512, what have you. You may want to go for, on one of mine, because of the way the universes are on my trees, the way they step up and down, I've actually got 610, so I've actually got to have 360 in the third universe as it rolls over. We're not going to get into too much detail on that, but basically this here, all Nutcracker works on is a start address. So basically here I've got some DMX set up on channels 1 through 34. Universe 1 goes from 35 to 44 and on we go, okay? So how do we care about that? We just go into our models. So if we want to make a model, if I want to make a megatree, and let's say I've got, we'll make a new megatree, I can have a 360 degree, 270 or flat, right? So let's say we've got heaps of money, right? So this is me massive megatree, okay? All right. So, and what have I got? It's a big bugger, okay? So I'm going to have 60 strings, and it's going to be 150, it's going to be 300 high, right? And there's going to be four 4 strands per string, so up and down 4 times. Okay, so that's now generated a string, a mega tree. Now what it's saying there is that because I put in so many channels, I haven't got enough universes for it, but it doesn't care about that at the end of the day. It's there, it's just made me this massive mega tree. Right? So straight away, I can size it, I can move it around in my wherever I want to go, and there we have it as far as actually developing a working model. And in essence, if I go back to that one, if I go back to models, mega tree, my massive mega tree, if I go to modify, it's actually starting at channel 1. When we looked at our channel numbers, I could say that this one starts at 3450. Okay, so that will now readdress everything from 3450 right the way through. Okay, so it's a matter of lining up these models, these numbers here, with when you get back into your setup. There we go. It needs a few more. Just gone and bought a few more controllers, and it's actually just taken it up to 16,000 channels. All right, and so if I then go into test, this tells my singing tree is there. If I go right down to the end, somewhere in here will be my mega tree. Right? So, okay. Then how do we program? So we can go into our preview, and in here we can size things, get our layout of our particular building. I've just been mucking around with this one with a few things. Set it up wherever you want to go. You have the option then of saying, well, I'm happy with that's the way it's going to be laid out. So I'll just change my size here. We've got 18. Just got to change the size of the viewing panel so I can see it. No, that's the wrong way. Resolution's wrong, so we'll go to 800 by 400, see what we get. Okay, so there's my singing faces. I can now lay everything out how I want it to look. What they've done in xLights is I can now I save that layout, then I can actually build a model. And what that will do is takes all of my models and generates one model. So I'm just going to call this my Sydney model. Okay. So now I go into okay, get on with it. Okay. Then go on to sequencer. I haven't got any songs in here, so I'll create a new musical sequence. And let's call it old Jingle Bell Rock will do. Okay, 50 milliseconds. I'm not going to bring in any timing marks at this stage. I could do. Now I can go to timings, I can go into import, and I've generated some bars here for good old Randy. Okay, so now it has generated the song. I can now go play. Okay, you might be, by the time I'm finished, you might be tired of that song. But hey, how many times have we played our songs? So now this has got the timing marks just for bars. I can then go into here and I can go, what elements do I want to put in there? So let's put in the massive mega tree and the Sydney. Okay. Right, so they're already loaded in here. You can toggle down here, toggle your strands. You can actually open up your strands if you want to look at your strands individually and play around with them. Right. So now I've got some timing marks. I can go into click up onto here, and if I expand it out, then I can just drag an effect. Let's go put bars in here. Right. So bars has gone to those particular timing marks, but I can, now that I've got that in there, I can now shift that around, do whatever I like with it as far as I'm not fixed now to those timing marks. Right? Yep, sweet. Okay. I can now go and put another layer in, and I can say, right, well, I'm going to put in some fire underneath that, right, in the same area. What it does, all these panels here are now you can now take them off and look at them. And straight away, we can actually see what we're doing. Okay, that's the effects that I've just put on there straight away, without rendering, without saving, without doing anything else. This is one of the big things about Nutcracker, is that you can actually see what's going on at any particular time. All right, that's not saved to anything. I can then render it if I needed to. Rendering will take only a few seconds, and it has stopped working, just like that, eh? Eh? It is a beta, yeah. So, no biggie. Okay, so if I open up an existing sequence, XML, we can just go into see what this one does for us. Yeah, that's okay. You can live with that, right? So, I haven't downloaded any information, but with this, so I'm saying once you get your timing marks, if you want to now go through and put some timing marks in, you just start playing it. We just start off up here, we hit T, and this is just like a tapper. So as we now go start playing, we can now just hit the T. And we've got timing marks that we can now program into. Okay? If I now say, okay, I want to put another timing track in, and I just want to call this Faces. I can go to Faces. Now I can go through on this one, and I can start playing that one, and I can just go, we'll start up in here. And now I've got a second timing track that I can start putting different effects on, different bits and pieces. We can then zoom into the right in. We get over there. And now you can pick these up and you can move them backwards and forwards. Right? And now I can just go and I can just drop an effect into there. Right? And with singing face that's showing up in here, he's away doing a bit of green stuff. Okay? All right. So that's a quick run through of where they're at with xLights as far as doing making it user-friendly. All of these are basically as soon as you click on one of these, down here, whatever effects you can change, automatically change. These are again dockable, and drag them off to another screen if you want to. Works well with 2 screens or even 3 screens if you can run 3 screens, but designed really for 2 screens. So you can basically have this one here, which is your whole house model or your whole setup, whatever you've done, and you can just drag that off to another screen and see what's actually going on as you go. Okay. So, beauty. Another little thing here with your audio is you can actually, if you want to get really precise with your timing, if you just take these back, they just redock. So now timing now is at half speed, or I can go to quarter speed. Now I can play it through, and it will play through really slow, so you can be precise with your. Okay. So they just put it out to the universe and said, what would you like to see? And they basically combined a lot of like Audacity, which has already taken the features of Audacity, put those into here, other bits and pieces. Superstar, so now I can just come in here and I can just import a Superstar file. I can import any particular, I can go for an LOS if I want to, and then convert LOS if I had one in there. There is one there somewhere, and straight into any other format you want. You can bring it in as what have you, and you can change it from LOR to Vixen or HLS or any of these particular ones here, and then back in and back out, or straight to your Pi player, what have you. Okay, that's me for now. Any questions? Right, I'm here all weekend. Okay.